In this life, sometimes we struggle with the heartache of having to start our life over. And sometimes we often wonder, how do we even get started? After a traumatic life event, we get divorced, we lose a loved one, we lose our job, we lose all our money. We're sitting there struggling, trying to figure out, what do I need to do to get my life started back? What do I need to do to get my life on track? Years ago, my ex-wife walked out the door, took my kids with her. It hurt me so bad, it was almost like somebody died. That was the pain I felt. It was like somebody had died, left this world. And I carried that pain on the inside of me. But yet I could still see him every day, see her every day. And the pain hurt so bad, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to get my life started back. I didn't know how to turn the situation around. I didn't know what to do. Has anybody ever felt that way before? And I remember I was watching Charles Stanley on TV one day, Dr. Charles Stanley. And he was explaining to his congregation that nothing slips up on God and that nothing could take place in our life without God's permission. And if you was in a situation today that God knew it was going to happen. Now, did God want us to be divorced? No, he did everything he could to turn us around. He did everything he could to fix that. He did everything he could to make sure we stayed married. But because we missed the signs, because we didn't pay attention to what he was saying, and you know, when somebody's heart is made up on what they want to do, sometimes it's hard to change their heart and their mind, especially when they have other influences. And Charles Stanley said something that was very important. He said, you got to accept where you are in life, or accept that it's the very will of God because you're there. No, he didn't want it to happen, but he knew it was going to happen. And that was very important because if he knew that it was going to happen, then he knew what it was going to take to get me out. And those words set me free. So the first thing I had to do is the first thing you have to do. We have to accept where we are. You have to accept where you are in life. If you're divorced, if you're broken, if you're depressed, if your finances are gone, whatever situation you're finding yourself in right now, you have to accept where you at. And the moment I accepted where I was, the second thing I did is I made up my mind. I didn't want to be there any longer. See, accepting where I was gave me, all of a sudden, it gave me a direction because I admitted where I was. I admitted how I felt. I admitted I didn't want to be there. And I knew that God could help me get out of there. So the moment I accepted where I was, God gave me the strength and knowledge to understand that I did not want to be there any longer. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to be depressed. You don't have to walk around with your head down. You don't have to be discouraged. I made up in my mind that I loved being married and that one day I wanted to be married again. So that became my goal. I made up in my mind that I didn't want to be broke. So I decided on how much money I wanted to have in my bank account, and I started working towards it. I made up in my mind that I didn't want to live in that situation any longer. I didn't want to be in that space, that I was going to have a relationship with my children. Until this day, I have the greatest relationship with my kids that it was orchestrated by the hand of God because God gave me the direction. He gave me the instructions the moment I accepted where I was. And the reason why a lot of us can't get our life started, the reason why a lot of us can't move on is because we will not accept where we are in life. The moment you accept where you are, the second thing you got to do is make up in your mind that you don't want to be there any longer. Once I did that and I started putting my plan together, I ran across a sister by the name of Lisa Nicole. She said she'll never be this broke or broken again. And she said that she started speaking affirmations over her life every day. So that's what I started doing. I started speaking positive affirmations over my life every day that lined up with where I was trying to go in life. I started telling myself, my bank account is running over. I have more than enough to fulfill all my needs. I have enough for me. I have enough to bless others. I have enough to take care of me and my children. And the accounts just started growing. Started telling myself that I was going to meet my wife and that we was going to be married and that things were going to go great. I started speaking those positive affirmations over my life every day, and things slowly started to change. The depression went away. I stopped walking around with my head down. I stopped feeling like I wanted to kill myself and take my own life. I started getting better day by day. And it all started when I acknowledged where I was. I made up in my mind that I didn't want to be there any longer. I began to put a plan together to take me where I wanted to go. I set goals. I wanted this much money. I wanted to be married again. I want to have a relationship with my kids. And I started working towards those things. And then I started saying positive affirmations that lined up with where I was trying to go each and every day. And last but not least, I started listening to motivational messages, something like the one I'm trying to give you today. And those motivation messages inspired me because it showed me that I wasn't the only one going through stuff. It showed me that other people had hardships, that other people had trials and tribulations. And it showed me that God pulled them out of their trials and tribulations. And since he pulled them out, guess what? He was going to pull me out as well. God has a great plan for your life. And God has put greatness on the inside of your life. And I'm going to tell you something. No mistake, no shortcoming, nothing can stop you from reaching your destiny that God has put on the inside of you. I tell my son all the time, just because you didn't reach your goal one way, don't mean that you're not going to reach it. It just means that you got to go another way to get there. Just because you had a tragedy hit your life, you had something come into your life that set you back for a second, don't mean that you can't still reach your God-given dream, goals, or ideas. All you got to do is figure out another way with God's help to get there. And guess what? You will get there. It's just me, the Mount Moving Coach, coming at you to show you how to move these mountains out of your life. Because God said if it took his word to create the mountains, then his word can also move the mountains. So if we speak God's word out of our mouth, we can move every mountain out of our life. If you enjoyed my short message, please like, subscribe, follow, and share. Like, follow, subscribe, and share. Click the bell down there so you can be noted with new posts and new comments. I'm going to do more of these, and I hope to inspire and encourage all of y'all. I'm going to teach you, with God's help, how to move all the mountains out of your life. Because God said we are mountain movers. You're a mountain mover, you're a champion, you're an overcomer, and you're a winner. You're a mountain mover, you're a champion, you're an overcomer, and you're a winner. Don't allow your present circumstance to dictate to you what your future's going to be. Because your future's in the palm of God's hands. And he's going to show you exactly how to get there if you put your trust in him. God bless you, and we'll see you on the next time.